Yes, what I discovered years ago before I wrote the book is that what makes one person feel loved does not make another person feel loved. We have different love languages, and many couples have wrestled with that through the years. One would be saying, I'm showing that I love her. You know, look, I wash the dishes, I vacuum the floors, I wash her car, I get gas in her car, I change the baby's diaper. I mean, why wouldn't she feel loved? And she says, I know you do those things. You're a hard worker. I appreciate all of that, but we don't ever talk. I mean, we don't ever talk. We don't ever sit down with each other and share life with each other. And so it was that realization that I heard that over and over in my office, that I knew there had to be a pattern to what I was hearing. And so I really just went through several years of notes that I made when I was counseling and asked myself, when someone said, I just don't feel any love coming from my spouse, what did they want? What were they complaining about? And their answers fell into 5 categories. And I later called them the 5 love languages. And I started using that in my counseling. That if you want her to feel love, you've got to learn to speak your love in her language. And if you want him to feel love, you've got to learn to speak his love language. And couples would come back after they discovered each other's language and start speaking it and just say, Gary, this is changing everything. I mean, the whole climate's different now. And so here are the 5 languages that I discovered. Number 1 is words of affirmation. You look nice in that outfit. I really appreciate what you did. You know, one of the things I like about you is just using words to affirm them for things that you really do appreciate about them. And then there's acts of service, doing things for them that you know they would like for you to do. The things like I was mentioning, you know, washing dishes, vacuuming floors, washing the car, or changing the baby's diaper. That's a big act of service.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And we're going to leave it right here. We're going to our first break, but you don't want to miss it, because when we come back, there's 3 more love languages to learn about and so much more that will help you with Dr. Gary Chapman and the love languages that matter most. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
Your Caregiver Minute with Peter Rosenberg. What is the one thing that every life insurance representative will ask of every potential client? If something happened to you, what would happen to your family? Now, that night, after you sign up for life insurance, you need to have peace of mind knowing that you did what was necessary with the resources that you had. Now, what if that same life insurance representative showed back up again the next day and said, what happens to your loved one in the event of your demise? You said, well, I just took care of that yesterday. No, that was yesterday. Now we're going to do it again today. We're going to do it again the next day and the next day. And this is going to go all the way until one of you all dies. We have to constantly be thinking what needs to happen to make sure this person is taken care of in case not only if I die, if I sprain my ankle, if I get the flu. Caregivers don't get to call in sick. That is why I do this program.
Hope for the Caregiver with Peter Rosenberger. Saturday mornings at 8 Eastern, 7 Central on American Family Radio.
It's so easy to politicize abortion, but the reality is there's a precious life at stake, and that little life doesn't have a voice. All that little life has is a heartbeat, and it can be heard as early as 5 weeks on ultrasound. That's where Preborn steps in. Preborn is a voice for the little ones.
They do an ultrasound, and that's when everything changed. Because when I saw my baby, and when I had heard her heartbeat, that was it.
Preborn network of clinics offers free ultrasounds to women in crisis while showering them with God's love. This powerful combination doubles a baby's chance at life and has helped to rescue over 300,000 babies. To learn more about Preborn's life-saving work, call pound 250 and say the keyword baby. That's pound 250 baby, or visit preborn.com/AFR. All gifts are tax deductible. The enemy wants to destroy anything of God's, especially mankind who is made in God's image.
What would it be like if every person knew that they were created in the image of God?
We're talking about people loved by the Father.
people for whom Jesus died.
We have to stand on God's truth.
We hear in culture all the time, we need to find ourselves. We need to go find our identity. We are already defined. We are known before the foundations of the world.
In His Image is a life-changing film that has helped people break free from the grip of evil. It will take you through Scripture to show the truth, and its powerful testimonies will destroy Satan's attempts to pervert God's perfect design.
We now know with the genome of all of the DNA that there is no propensity towards a genetic disposition to homosexual behavior.
Want it for the first time or again with someone who needs to see it? Get the 2 DVD set at resources.afa.net.
We got CDs, tapes, and videos, radio and TV shows, conferences, retreats, and seminars. We got books and magazines to read on everything from A to Z, and a web to surf from anywhere we are. But I hope with all this information buzzing through our brains, that we will not let our hearts forget the most important thing. It's love.
Welcome back, friends. That is All About Love with Stephen Curtis Chapman. And you heard him saying CDs. Yes, he did. And there are so many things that change in the world around us. But one thing that does not change is that February 14th is coming, just like it does every year. And with Valentine's Day approaching, many of us are thinking about love. And you may be thinking about candy hearts or dinner plans or flowers or gifts or what is my wife expecting me to do this year? And in fact, recent data shows that about 3/4 of U.S. adults plan to celebrate Valentine's Day in some way. More than half of those with a romantic partner, but half of those with friends, family that they love. Galentine's is all the rage, where girls get together and celebrate friendship, and the spending on this is absolutely astronomical. From the National Retail Federation, it is estimated that Americans spend about $27 billion on Valentine's gifts and experiences with an average of $190 each. Oh my goodness, that is giving me palpitations there. But as believers, we know that real love, the kind that Christ calls us to, goes deeper than just chocolates and Valentine's. And that's what we're talking about today, the love language that matters most. And I'm so overjoyed to have Dr. Gary Chapman with us today talking about the 5 love languages. And right before the break, Dr. Chapman, you were talking about the 5 love languages. For those who may just not be familiar, you've done 2. And so let's pick it up right there.
Okay, the first 2, one was words of affirmation, one was acts of service. Actions speak louder than words for those people. Number 3 is gifts, which you've been talking about Valentine's Day. I studied cultures all over the world. We've never discovered a culture where gift giving is not an expression of love. It's universal to give gifts, and God is our example. I mean, all good gifts, the Bible says, come down from the Father of lights above. So, giving gifts. And then number 4 is quality time. Giving the person your undivided attention. I do not mean sitting there watching television together. Someone else has your attention. TV is off, computer is down, we're not answering our phone, we're giving each other our undivided attention. We're sharing life, our thoughts, our feelings, our desires, our dreams, our frustrations, whatever. We're sharing life with each other, undivided attention. And number 5 is physical touch. We've long known the emotional power of physical touch. That's why we pick up babies, hold them, kiss them, and cuddle them. Long before the baby understands the meaning of the word love, the baby feels love by physical touch. So the basic concept is that out of those 5, each of us, married or single, young or old, we all have what I call a primary love language. One of those speaks more deeply to us emotionally than the other 4. We're not going to turn away any one of them. They're all fine. But if we don't receive love in our primary language, we will not feel loved, even though the person may be loving us in another language.
Well, you know, Dr. Chapman, I was sharing with you during the break that I took the assessment, a new assessment that comes out with this book, The Love Language That Matters Most, because I've known about love languages for a long time, followed your work for a long time, and read the 5 love languages for children. That was really instrumental in learning to love my kids, because each one of my 4 children was different and had a different love language, and learning how to express love to them in a way they would best receive it. And what I'd shared with you is that I was really shocked to find that my love language had completely changed from when I first started this, maybe 20 years ago. And my love language, my primary love language used to be quality time, but when I took it this time, it was very clearly words of affirmation. And when I started thinking about that, I had shared with you that I thought maybe that is evidence of a woman who has spent the last 15 years raising teenagers and has heard for 15 years, Mom, oh, come on, Mom, why? Oh, no, don't, Mom. And I embarrass people by breathing. You know, which is just a natural part of having teenagers. There's lots of great things too, but teens are not known for their strength in words of affirmation. And that may be something that somebody wants to revisit. They may have known about the love languages and think, oh, I know what mine is, but it's changed. And you said you see that.
Yeah, it's pretty common for our love language to change at different stages of life. Things like you described, or like a mother that has 2 preschool children. Acts of service may not have been her language, but during those years, it's probably going to jump to the top because she's overwhelmed. She needs help. So yeah, seasons of life and circumstances also. You know, your spouse gets off the phone and starts crying, and you say, honey, what's wrong? And she said, I just got a message that my mother died. Physical touch may not be her language, but at that moment, in this circumstance, embracing her and let her weep and let her say, I'm with you, honey, I'm with you. It's probably the most important thing you could do. So in that circumstance, another love language jumps to the top. So,
and that circumstance, and for different people, because the love languages don't just apply. This is not just a language for husband and wife or romantic couples. As I shared, I've used this with my kids. How can people use the love languages in everyday relationships around them?
Well, I think whatever the relationship, if it's a close relationship, listen, we want to feel loved by the significant people in our lives. Almost everyone agrees it's one of our deepest emotional needs to feel loved. And so whether it's a marriage, whether it's children, whether it's a close friend, whether it's your aging parents, or whether it's somebody at work that you have a close relationship with. At work, we don't usually call it love, we call it appreciation. I wrote a book called The 5 Languages of Appreciation in the Workplace, but it's the same emotional need. It's the need to be valued as a person. I'm not just a cog in a machine. I'm a person. They care about me. So it's one of our basic needs, and that's why it's so important. I think that's why the original book has been so successful. As you mentioned, 20 million copies have sold in 50 languages around the world. But I think this new book is also going to help the people who have read the original book. Because 2 of the questions that I've gotten through the years is, they said, Dr. Chapman, you mentioned that there are dialects to these languages, but you don't explain that and what they are. And you mentioned that personalities interface with the love languages, but you didn't go into that. So in this new book, we're going into both of those. We're laying out dialects within each of the languages, that is, different ways to speak those, because we have not only a primary language, but we have a key dialect that really, really speaks